Hello guys, today I'm making this video about a 2010 Mercedes C-Class. It's a W204 chassis, and the customer is complaining about basically he can't start the car. The problem he has is he's saying the car doesn't crank and it doesn't start. If you have a look, this is the key for the car, this is the right key for the car. I put the key in the car, nothing on the dash. Turn it all the way, nothing comes on the dash. Try to crank it. If you have a look here, try to crank it, nothing comes. Basically put it in, turn it, try to crank, nothing comes on the dash. Okay, let me explain some about this problem. Basically I've checked the battery, everything is fine. Before anything, I would like to say that I know what the problem is with this car, because I do this problem minimum 2 to 3 a week, because I've got advertisement on eBay and on my website that it's a common fault with this car. Basically, it's a W204, W207 and W211 chassis, C-Class and E-Class, between 2006 2007 till 2012-13. Every single one of them will have this problem at some point in their life, because it's a common fault with them, and the problem is the steering lock, ESL. I would say 9 out of 10 or it's the ESL problem. Sometimes you get the problem with the key as well. I'm not going to say basically 10 out of 10 is the problem is the ESL. They got problem with a key, and sometimes they got problem with the ignition barrel as well, basically EIS. But 9 out of 10 is the steering lock. What happens to these cars is steering lock has got it's basically two pieces. We got the electric board and we have the motor. We have the mechanical motor, basically electric motor. The motor stops working and it crops the chip inside the basically crops the file in the chip inside the basically ESL. And then the ESL doesn't communicate with the EIS, which is the ignition barrel, and the key. So basically key, EIS and ESL has to communicate with each other to start the car. If one of them doesn't communicate, the car does not start, and this happens. Basically you can't get nothing on the dash. So I usually put the machine on to basically make sure the problem is the ESL before I take the steering column out, because you need to take the steering column out to take the EIS out. If you don't have if you don't have a diagnostic machine, it's very easy, because on Mercedes, I'm sure you know by now, if you put the key inside the ignition barrel, you get a little noise from underneath the steering column, which is the steering lock, which is unlocks and locks the steering. And this problem can happen in both positions. Basically, you can have this problem, you can just drive the car and then go home and then take the key out and then come back to the car, put the key back in, and nothing comes on the dash. You get the key turning but nothing comes on the dash. Or you can just take the key out, and then this happens while the steering is unlocked, which is the case with this car now, because I can turn the steering but the car doesn't start, because the problem is with the steering lock, and ESL doesn't communicate with the EIS and the key. Let's explain how you can fix this car. To fix this car, unfortunately, you need equipment to fix this car, because you can't just change the steering lock and start the car, because on these, the steering lock has to be programmed to the car. And to do that one, you need the pin code. You need the pin code from the EIS and the file from the EIS, and you need to combine them and write it into a new steering lock to start the car. There's many ways that you can do that one. If you got a Star Diagnostics, which is the Mercedes Star Diagnostics, you can do that through OBD. You can just put the car. Sorry, just a second, my phone is ringing. What you can do is you can just take the steering column out, remove the ESL, put the new ESL on the steering column, put the steering column back on the car, basically box the car back up, and then connect start Diagnostics and program, we called ISN coding, and program the ESL to the car and start the car. But if you don't have a start Diagnostics, you need key machines like Abrite's AVDI, Mercedes with a Mercedes license, or you can use a VVDI, which is the X-Horse. It's a Chinese machine, but it's a very good tool. You can use them. The way they program to the car is different. You cannot do through OBD on this car. So what you need to do is you need to take the EIS out and the key with a working key on the bench. You read the basically you read the password from the EIS with a working key, and then you get the file from the EIS, you combine them two together, and then you read that file, you write the file into the new ESL, and after that everything is matched. So you put the new ESL on the steering column, put it on the car, and start the car. And there is other ways as well, people doing it, and it's the cheaper version. Basically what they do, there's instead of programming a ESL steering lock to the car, what they do, they program, there's Chinese basically it's an emulator. It's a simulator that it's a little box that comes, and the only thing is you can basically you bypass the ESL. Basically you can program that to the car. Even that needs programming. You can't just it's not a plug and play. You program that to the car. The only difference is you're not going to have steering lock after programming, because it doesn't have that motor to lock and unlock the steering. And I don't think that's not a safe way to do it. But anyway, this video was just for basically if you have this car, or if you have a garage and you get in this problem, it's basically what you do, you put the key inside, you try to turn it, and nothing comes on the dash. First of all, check the battery, make sure the battery is fine, and then the key, check the key, because the key works. Basically you can unlock and unlock the doors, but you put the key inside the ignition, turn it, nothing comes on the dash. Make sure you check the battery. If you don't have a diagnostic machine, just make sure you put the battery, and you check the battery, the car has got enough power, and then try to go for an ESL. The last thing I would like to show you is, let me put the key and then turn the ignition on. Okay, the last thing I would like to show you is, if you do have a diagnostic machine, just turn the key on to the on position, full scan the car, and then go to EZS electronic ignition lock, and just read the fault codes. It's quick and easy. What you get, trouble codes, what you get is, it's A25464, and you usually get A10D00. That's not very important, but the second fault code is A25464, and if you is current and stored, and if you read the description, it says the electronic steering lock is faulty. This is the easiest way. I'm not saying every single problem like this is the steering lock, but 9 out of 10 is the steering lock. I had problem with the EIS, which is the ignition barrel, and I had problem in the past with the key as well, but usually 9 out of 10 is the ESL, because every single one of these cars have this problem at some point in their life. And yeah, if you go on eBay, I've got ads on eBay for repairing these cars, and even on my website, which is ramisautolocksmith.co.uk. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.